I had to stay in bed a whole week after that. That bugged me. I'm not the kind that can lie around looking at the ceiling all the time. I read most of the time and I draw pictures. One day I started flipping through one of Soda's old yearbooks and came across a picture that seemed vaguely familiar. Not even when I read the name Robert Sheldon did it hit me who it was. And then I realized it was Bob. I took a good long look at it. The picture didn't look a whole lot like Bob, I remembered, but nobody ever really looks a whole lot like his picture in a yearbook anyway. He'd been a sophomore that year. That would make him about 18 when he died. Yeah, he was good looking even then, with a grin that reminded me a little bit of Soda's, kind of reckless grin. He'd been a handsome black-haired boy with dark eyes, maybe brown like Soda's, maybe dark blue like the Shepherd boys, but maybe he had black eyes like Johnny. I never given Bob much thought. I had time to think. But that day I wondered about him. What was he like? I knew he liked to pick fights. Had the usual soch behavior that living on the west side made you Mr. Super Tough, looked good in dark wine-colored sweaters, and was proud of his rings. What about the Bob Sheldon that Cherry Valance knew? She was a smart girl. She didn't like him just because he was good-looking. Sweet and friendly, stands out from the crowd, that's what she said. A real person. The best buddy a guy had ever had. Just trying to make someone stop him. Randy had told me that. Did he have a kid brother who idolized him? Maybe a big brother who kept bugging him not to be so wild? His parents let him run wild because they loved him too much or too little. Did they hate us now? I hope they hated us. That they weren't full of that pity the victims of environment junk the social riders kept handing Curly Shepherd every time he got sent off to reform school. I'd rather have anybody's hate than their pity. But then maybe they understood like Cherry Valance. I looked at Bob's picture and I could just begin to see the person we had killed. A reckless, hot-tempered boy, cocky and scared stiff at the same time. Ponyboy? Yeah? I didn't look up. Thought it might be the doctor. He'd been coming to see me almost every day, and he didn't do much except talk to me. There's a guy here to see you. Says he knows you. Something in Darry's voice made me look up. His eyes were hard. His name is Randy. Yeah, I know him. You want to see him? Yeah, I shrugged. Sure, why not? A few guys from school had dropped by to see me. I have quite a few friends at school, even if I'm younger than most of them and don't talk much, but that's what they are, school friends, not buddies. I had been glad to see them, but it bothered me because we live in a kind of lousy neighborhood and our house ain't real great. It's run down looking and everything, and the inside's kind of poor looking too, even though a bunch of boys, we do a pretty good job of house cleaning. Most of my friends at school come from good homes, not filthy rich like the Soches, but like middle class. Anyway, it was a funny thing. It bugged me about my friends seeing our house, but I couldn't have cared less about what Randy thought. Hi, Ponyboy. Randy looked uncomfortable standing in the doorway. Hi, Randy. Have a seat if you can find one. Books were lying all over everything. He pushed a couple off a chair and sat down. How you feeling? Cherry told me your name was in the school bulletin. Oh, I'm okay. You can't really mess my name with any kind of bulletin. He still looked uncomfortable, though he tried to grin. You want to smoke? I offered him a weed, but he shook his head. No, thanks. Pony boy, one reason I came here was to see if you're okay, but we gotta go see the judge tomorrow. Yeah, I said, lighting a cigarette. Hey, holler if you see one of my brothers coming. I'll catch it for smoking in bed. My dad says for me to tell the truth and nobody can get hurt. He's kind of upset about all this. I mean, my dad's a good guy and everything. Better than most, actually. And I kind of let him down, being mixed up in all this. I just looked at him. That was the dumbest remark I'd ever heard someone make. He thought he was mixed up in this? He hadn't killed anybody. He didn't get his head busted in with a rumble. It wasn't his buddy that was shot dead under a street light. Besides, what did he have to lose? His old man was rich. He could pay whatever fine there was for being drunk and picking a fight. I wouldn't mind getting fined, Randy said. But I feel lousy about the old man, and it's the first time I felt anything in a long time. The only thing I felt in a long time was being stared. Stared stiff. I'd pull off thinking about the judge and hearing as long as I could. Soda and Derry don't like to talk about it either, so we're all just sitting silently counting off the days while I was sick. Counting the days that we had left together. But Randy, sticking solidly to the subject, it was impossible to think about anything else. My cigarette started trembling. I guess your folks pretty awful about it too. Nah, my parents are dead. I live here with just Derry and Soda, my brothers. Took a long drive in a cigarette. That's what's worrying me. If the judge decides Derry isn't a good guardian or something, I'm liable to get stuck in a home somewhere. That's the rotten part of this deal. Derry is a good guardian. He makes me study and knows where I am and who I'm with all the time. I mean, we don't get along great sometimes, but he keeps me out of trouble, or did. My father didn't yell half as much as he does. I didn't know that. Randy looked worried. He really did. The Soch even worried because some kid greaser was on his way to a foster home or something. It was really funny. I don't mean funny. You know what I mean. Listen to me, Pony. You didn't do anything. It was your friend Johnny who had the knife. I had it. I stopped him. He looked at me strangely. I had the knife. I killed Bob. But I saw it. You were almost drowned. It was the black-headed guy with the switchblade. But Bob scared him into doing it. I saw it. No, I killed him. I had the switchblade. I was so scared they were going to beat me up. No, kid. It was your friend, the one who died in the hospital. Johnny's not dead. Johnny's not dead. Hey, Randy. Derry stuck his head in the door. I think you'd better go now. Sure, Randy said. He was looking at me kind of funny. See you around, Pony. Yeah, don't ever say anything to him about Johnny. He's pretty racked up mentally and emotionally. The doc said he'll get over it if we give him time. I swallowed hard and blinked. He was just like all the rest of the Soches. Cold-blooded and mean. Johnny didn't have anything to do with Bob's getting killed. Ponybuck Curtis put out that cigarette. Oh, okay. I ain't gonna go to sleep smoking, Derry, if you make me stay in bed, then there ain't anywhere else I can smoke. Well, you're not gonna die if you don't get a smoke. But if that bed catches on fire, you will. You couldn't make it to the door through that mess. Well, golly, I can't pick it up and Soda doesn't, so I guess that leaves you. He was giving me one of those looks. All right, but that doesn't leave you. Maybe Soda will straighten up a little. Maybe you can be a little bit neither, huh, little buddy? He'd never called me that before. Soda was the only one he ever called little buddy. Sure, I said. Yeah, I'll be more careful.